Oh, I think we are good to go. The floor is yours, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So hi everyone. I'm really happy to be with you today. I'm Raphael Pothin. I will talk today about CI/CD for Power Platform solutions and branching strategies. But the main difference with the grid session Chris made just before is that I will make a demonstration in GitHub. So Chris introduced grid basics around DevOps, so it will be really good for my session too. Okay, okay, good. So as I say, my name is Raphael Pothin. I consider myself as a Power Platform and DevOps enthusiast. You can find my contacts here, and do not hesitate to come to me on LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever you want. I will be happy to chat with you and to answer to your questions if you have some. So for my Canadian fun fact, as you can hear, I'm not an English native. I'm from France, but I'm in Canada since 2018. And just like other French people, I like food and I like good food. And I was happy when I came to Quebec, because I'm in Montreal, to find some great food, just like the poutine. I really enjoy this meal. It's really good. It's French fries, cheese curds, and brown gravy. So it's the basic of the meal, but every restaurant add so many things on it, and it's really good. It emerged in Quebec around 1950s, but we do not really know which restaurant invented the poutine. I had the chance to went 2-3 times to the Roy Giuseppe, who is one of the restaurants that claim to be the creator of the poutine, and I can say it's really good. So if one day you have the chance to come to Quebec, the province of Quebec, and try the poutine, I encourage you to do it because it's a good meal.
Best ones from Ashton in Quebec City.
Oh, I did not try this one. I will need to try it. So the agenda for this session, I will talk about a little bit about Power Platform Solution IAM, but just like I mentioned before, Chris made a really good introduction on this subject for me, so thank you again. And then we will focus more about how we can do that in GitHub. About Power Platform Solution deployment automation, perhaps some of you today still export and import manually your zip package from a source to a target environment. And I think you can still do it if you are on a small perimeter, a small project, small team, because it's an investment to automate all that. And if you are able to do it manually and manage all the risk and the quality just like this, you can continue. But in a lot of projects, you will need to go for some automation. And the principles are a bit the same. You will need to export the solution from a source environment and import it to a target environment. But in the middle, you will not manage manually the zip package. You will use a platform like Azure DevOps, like Chris shown us before, or GitHub, or other one if you want, but the main one are for Power Platform are Azure DevOps and GitHub. And using this kind of platform, it will allow you to have a detailed history of the source code evolution. If you just look at the zip package and continue to work manually for your export-import process, it's many times complicated if you want to compare two versions of the solution, and you will need to unzip the package, use a tool like WinMerge, for example, to compare two files. So it's really not easy. And if you have everything in a repository with commits, methods, and things like that, you will be able to easily compare two files, see what have changed, when, who makes the change, and it's better to follow all these kind of things. Second point, the automation of tasks related to the deployment of solution. The quality is really important when you deploy your solutions, and you can automate many tasks regarding this subject. Use the solution checker, make unit tests, also make security checks. For example, if you have some .NET code, check that you do not have a password in the code. It's really important. And also make static code analysis. It can be really useful for C# code or any kind of code. Obviously, for the customizations made directly in the portal, it's not really useful. But if you have an implementation with a lot of codes, you should really implement static code analysis. And the third point, it will be the improvement of the organization of your team and of your work. Because I will talk more about this after, but you can implement branching strategy. You can have different environments. You can provision and decommission environment dynamically, and it helps to your team to work on just a unit of work, a feature, or a user story, and then check with the rest of the team if the work is okay and if the quality is here. Talking about branching strategies, there is many branching strategies available. You can choose one official, I will say like that, branching strategy, or make your own. For me, it's a bit like agile frameworks. You can follow one agile framework as is, or you can try to adapt it to your context and how your team work. For example, you could imagine to have just one branch. Okay, just use your repository to store your customizations, and it could be fine. You could also have one dev branch that will stay alive forever. So it will be just near your main branch. You will have your dev branch, and on this dev branch you will work, create new branches, make some merges, things like that. For me, it's a complicated strategy because you will have to synchronize the main branch with your dev branch to have everything working correctly. Because if you make a hotfix in production, because you find a bug someday, you will push the hotfix on the main branch, on the dev branch, and if you have many work in progress around your product, it can be difficult to manage all these merges. And I listened some podcasts, some videos around this subject, and some people talk about this branching strategy as the merging hell. Another strategy called the trunk-based strategy, or also for Microsoft, the release flow strategy. The idea is you can always push to production from your main branch. So your main branch should be the best quality ever. Everything should be fine on this main branch. And when you need to add some customizations, add the new feature, you will create a branch directly from your main branch. So in our case, it could look like that. You will create the branch feature for a user story, for example, add a field on a new entity. You will make your work, make some export and unpack from your dev environment. And when you will be ready, you will create a pull request here at the end of the branch, create a pull request to check with all your team, okay, does this feature is okay for you? Does this feature respect all our standards of quality? And if everything is okay, it will be, the pull request will be merged to the main branch. And that means this feature could be pushed to production now, okay? And then you will continue to work like that. Obviously, just for the illustration, I put it the two branch one after the other, but obviously you can imagine to have multiple feature branches open in the same time, and then you will merge progressively everything on the main branch. And then when you are ready, for example, in our projects, in our Power Apps or Dynamics 365 projects, when you are ready, you have made the communication to the end user, you know what you are able to push to production, you create a release branch and you push everything to production. From my understanding, the use of this release branch is if you need to create a hotfix, for example, because you find a bug in production after the deployment, you are able to create a branch from the main branch, correct the bug, and then make two merges, one to the main branch and one to the release branch, and make a new deployment directly from your release branch. The next step, I will say, from these branching strategies, but I think it's a bit complicated for us in our projects of Power Apps and Dynamics 365, is the GitHub branching strategies. At GitHub, when a pull request is merged to the main branch, it's automatically pushed to production. Okay, so in our case, I think it's complicated because you have to make some communication to the end user. If you make you work on a big feature, it's a bit complicated. If everything is fine, okay, you make your pull request, the pull request is approved. It's complicated to just push everything in production like that, but we can imagine it could be the next step. Okay, so now I will talk a bit more about GitHub. Here is Octocat. It's the mascot of GitHub. For some of you, perhaps you don't know GitHub. I assume many of you know what's the platform, but I will just give you some information. In GitHub, you can obviously manage your source code. It's the main part of the platform. But it's not only source code. You can also push in GitHub some PowerPoint files, some PDF files. You can work on many kind of projects in GitHub. You can also track tasks and issues. So if you are working on a project directly in GitHub, you will be able to manage everything, the bugs on your project. Obviously, the ideas, new features, everything directly on the platform. One really important part is the collaboration in GitHub. Obviously, you can make some comments in the issues. You can make some comments in the pull request directly to talk with the rest of the team. For the documentation, you can write some markdown files that will be presented directly in GitHub in the repository. But you have also a wiki part that allows you to make more complex documentation for your project. And another part of the platform, you have a project management feature. So you are able to have a Kanban board that will help you follow the progress of your issues in the scope, time scope. For example, if you have a sprint, you can use this kind of features to follow the progress of your issues. And the key part for my presentation is automation. With the introduction of GitHub Actions, GitHub went to the next step, providing a very powerful feature to everyone working on the platform. I include in this automation point also the security feature provided directly in GitHub. You can enable some checks on your repository, and GitHub will look at your code and things like that and try to see if there is some dependencies or some risk in your repository, and notify you if they found something. Okay, so here is an illustration of what I will try to show you today. I tried to make this demonstration yesterday, but I got some issues. I hope today will be better. But I have a video this time if I got an issue. So the first step, it will be when an issue will be assigned in GitHub, I will automatically create a dev branch, create a dev environment in Power Apps, make an import of the solution I have in my repository, and then push a small notification in my issue in GitHub. Next step will be I will make a small customization in my dev environment, and then I will manually trigger an export and unpack of the solution to GitHub. Next step, I will be okay with my new customization, and I will create a pull request to merge everything to the main branch. Obviously, I will try to generate a just-in-time build environment, and also I will make a quality check using the solution checker. Fourth step will be to approve the pull request and deploy a managed version of the solution to a UAT environment to allow users to manually test the new feature. And final step will be to close the issue, and that will automatically delete the dev environment. Okay, so I will switch here. For this presentation, but I will say project, because for me it's more project than just a presentation. I've created a template repository in GitHub, open source, so perhaps in the future you will be able to try it if you want, and I will make my demonstration from there. So just like I said, I will show you here my environments. I have a QA environment, a production environment, but no dev, no build here. So the first step will be to create an issue. So just like that. And just like I mentioned, the trigger of the provisioning of the dev space will be the fact that I assign the issue. Because you can create all the issues in your backlog, and you will not work just when you create the issue, but when you assign it. Okay, so here I will just check the GitHub action. So here I am in the same repository, and I see that a GitHub actions trigger, and I will show you what I have in the file. So it's in my repository directly. I have a folder workflows in the .github folder, where you have all the definition of pipelines. It's YAML, so it's a bit of code. Here you see that the trigger of the pipeline is when an issue is assigned. I've put some variables here. I've organized this pipeline with jobs. So here I have the first job is for the creation of a dev branch. I use an action from the community in the marketplace to do this task. Then in the same time, so here the two first jobs execute in the same time, and I will create a dev environment in Power Apps. The idea at the beginning, when I prepared this session, was to use standard Microsoft actions for Power App platform. to do all the presentation and to also use Azure DevOps for everything else that are not available in GitHub Actions. But after some thoughts, I say to myself, okay, I can do PowerShell in GitHub Actions. So I will make all my demonstrations directly here. And to do that, I've used the PowerShell modules, Power Apps Administration PowerShell and Power Apps PowerShell to do everything directly in GitHub Actions. So here I will provision a dev environment with a display name, location, environment SKU. I will provision a database, so a Dataverse database, currency, language, and domain name. The next step will be the import of the solution from my repository, because I'm currently working on a solution, so it's not the first version. And for the steps, I need the previous one, so create Power Apps dev environment, to be success. So I specified here. And then I use the actions provided by Microsoft for the back of the solution from my repository, and then for the import. Here you can see that there is a sleep step. It's because when you provision an environment here using PowerShell, Microsoft will import some basic solutions. And if I do not make this step here to start sleep for 90 seconds, the import of the solution could fail because Microsoft is importing another solution in the same time. So it's why I put this here, and I hope 90 seconds it's okay, because yesterday it was not. I put it 60 seconds yesterday. And the last step is for the notification in the issue. And you can see here that I need to have the creation of the dev branch and the creation of the Power Apps environment for the notification. Okay, you can see here it's still in action because 90 seconds is a bit long. But I can already show you here the notification in my issue. I just put the name of the branch and the link to the new Power Apps environment. Okay, and I will show you here the dev branch, the new dev branch. Okay, we'll wait at the end. It takes some time, but if I do not want to fail the demonstration, I do not have the choice. So here you see I generate the URL with this format. So dev issued 39. I will check if I have some question on this part. Oh, I don't know where I stopped for the first one. Okay, thank you, Chris. I will start here. Victor, if you noted some interesting question, do not hesitate to tell me, because if I need to read everything, it can be complicated. Oh, okay. I will check the question just after that. I'm happy because this time it works. I'm a happy guy. Here, you can see that I have my new dev environment with the number of the ID of the issue. And here, if I switch to my new environment, and guys, I can see I have my solution I'm working with, and with this version. So I will go to the next step. So the next step was the customization of the solution, and then the export. First thing to do, and just to, I will go for a big step this time. Okay. And I said I had to add a level field on my demonstration entity. Okay, so add a new column, level. Okay, I like to. Here, choice, new one. Okay. 100. I will make a simple one, like our presentation during events. Okay, save this one. So here I am creating a choice, no default value. I'm saving, I'm see my new field, save table. It's a bit strange to say save table, but okay. And here I see I have my new choice here. And I will make publish all customizations. Come back. Okay. So I can come back here into my actions section in my repository, and I will use these actions. Sorry, for I use pipelines just like in Azure DevOps. So here it's a manual pipeline, manual action. Sorry. And I can provide some parameters. I will show you then the definition of the actions. I need to provide the idea. I'm on the 39. And I'm still with the same solution. I can update if I want, but it's okay. Then run workflow. This one should be quick. Okay, so for the definition of these actions, it's here. I have two input parameters. So the number of the issue. I need this parameter to be able to find the branch. So the branch name and also the Power Apps environment. So it's important to put that here. And I've just one job in these actions. It's export from dev. And I will just use the standard, I would say standard Microsoft actions for Power Platform. The first one is just to check the connection using some parameters provided in secrets in GitHub and the URL I built here. Just check the connection. Then I will make an export of the solution. I will unpack the solution, and it was unmanaged on my dev environment. And then I will push it to my dev branch using the standard branch solution action provided by Microsoft. It's an action we do not have in the Power Platform build tools. The last time I checked, we do not have in the Power Platform build tools in Azure DevOps. And I think it's a really important one because it pushes people to use dev branch or branch for export of the solutions. And I think it's a big step. Okay, it should be finished here. So I will show you that in my dev branch, I got 1 minute ago a commit. Everything changed. I will just show you some history. The one today. Okay. So I can see that I have my new field. Here is the choice, still option sets in the folder, but I think it will not change today. So I see everything changed I've made are here, so I'm really happy. I will come back here. I'm still on my dev issue 39 branch. And the third step is to create a pull request. Okay. It's really easy. I let everything by default. It's not really important for now. And just like I think Chris presented in Azure DevOps, you are able to make some control on the push to specific branch. In my case, to the main branch. So here, when I create a pull request, these actions will automatically trigger. I did not configure it as mandatory, I think, but you can say if there is an actions running, you block the pull request until it's finished. So here we will let it run, and I will show you what I have inside. So here the trigger is when there is the pull request targeting the branch main. And just like the first actions I showed you, I have multiple jobs here. The first one is the creation of a build environment. So it will be our just-in-time build environment just for this action run precisely. I define some variables to create my environment. I specify a complicated name, I will say like that, with build, the timestamp, and also the run ID for the name of the environment. And I think I can, okay, the environment is created, so I can show it to you here. Here is my just-in-time environment. I use the same pattern to do that. Then I will run a solution checker on my pack solution, I would say. So obviously the first step is to pack the solution as unmanaged because it's stored like this in my repository. And then I will install some PowerShell modules, and in particular this one, the checker. I will invoke the solution checker here. Here. Invoke Power Apps checker with some parameters I configured earlier. Then the results will be pushed in a file, in a serif files. And then I use some PowerShell to extract some information from the results of the checks. And in particular, the number of medium severity points and high severity points. And I push that in environment variables. The next step is really important because if the number of points, medium or high points I get are higher than a variable I defined in my job here, 5 for medium and 0 for high, I will put an information in the pull request, just the number for now, and I will stop I will stop the execution of the job. But if everything is okay, I will obviously sleep for 90 seconds and then import the solution to the build environment as unmanaged here, and then export it as managed from my build environment. In my case, it's just to check that everything is okay for the import of the solution and the export. But obviously, in our real context, it will be really important to do that. And then here, I push the managed solution in the artifact of GitHub. And the last step is the delete of the build environment. Okay, where am I? Okay, still here. Okay. Victor, did you see an interesting question I could answer now? Or
oh, there's a bunch of items here, but folks are pretty much talking to each other. Alan,
okay.
Chris. So I think you're good.
Okay. Good. This one can be a bit long, so I will just talk about this repository and. Yeah, Chris, I'm agree with you. It was a good idea to switch the order of our sessions. But the idea of this repository, I have few things to improve, many things to improve. But for example, I will do the same things as Microsoft has done For the actions, I can show you here it's a Microsoft repository for Power Platform actions, and they've put all the actions here. And for example, if we look at export solution, it's just an action YAML file. And I will try to do the same thing for example, for creation of a Power Apps environment. And I will put all my steps here. For some of you, perhaps you are used to the concept of templates, a YAML template in Azure DevOps. I'm not sure we have the same things in GitHub, but you can use this methodology. So I think I will create another repository where I will put some key actions like create Power Apps environment, delete Power Apps environment, execute solution checker, and then I will use these specific actions created in another repository in this one. So people will be able to oh, it's not finished. I know this joke. People will be able to use this template and create a new repository from scratch. And they will have directly the actions available, and they will just need to for example, change the solution name, change their branch format for dev, change their configuration for environments. Okay, so here the things are updating. I'm not sure I will be able to go to the end. Okay, yeah, everything's fine. Here, a small refresh, our build environment will disappear, and I'm really happy. So, next step, I have my plan here. I can merge the pull request, and just like I've shown on my slide, I can show it to you now. We have just finished this step, and we are going here. We will approve the pull request and merge to the main, and it will be automatically deployed to our UAT environment. Okay. So next step, just click on merge, confirm merge. It has been merged. It's good. Here I come. Import solution to QA was triggered. And we are going to do the same. Because I do not store my managed solutions in GitHub somewhere. I just have my unmanaged solution in my repository. So each time I need to deploy to an environment different from dev, I will need to use a just-in-time build environment, create the managed solution, and then import it to the target environment, in our case, QA environment. So, yeah, the thing. Interesting point to see is here, this actions is triggered by a push on the main branch, but only if something changed in this folder, my solutions folder, because I do not want to trigger this deployment actions if I update just my actions definition. Also, if I update my license file for open source or my readme.md. So here you can manage everything like that here. I have an environment variable, because the solution name, I will use it in different jobs. So I put it here. I will create the build environment, just like before. Build my managed solution. Import, export here. Import as unmanaged. And export as managed here, true. Push it in the artifact in GitHub, and the new job you didn't see until now is the import solution to QA. So I will use the standard Microsoft actions to push everything to QA. And for the last step, it will be to delete the build environment. And I should delete that because it's not a good idea. The important thing here I had to manage is to delete the build environment in, here, I manage it. It's to delete the build environment in all cases because I do not want to have my build environment staying here even if the import to QA fail. So I need to wait the 2 jobs to end, but I will trigger this job always. Even if import solution to QA failed, I will delete my build environment. And it's really important because it will fail. I will tell you why. Because for now, the import solution action provided by Microsoft do not take in account the timeout for the import of solution. So if you take more than 2 minutes to import the solution, this action will fail. And it is why I make this here. I check. Okay, Chris are answering. Okay, so where are we now? We are build. Can show you the build environment is here. Okay, I will switch to my QA just to show you. Here on our dev when 1.1.0, but here on QA we are still on 1.0.8, and in a few minutes it will be updated, I hope. Yeah, thank you, Omar, for the point. The issue here is that you can't manage the timeout, and by default, I think in the action provided by Microsoft, there is a limit of 2 minutes. But the difficulty here is that it will not fail in reality because for GitHub, the import will fail because I will go more than 2 minutes. But when I will check in Power Apps, I will see that the import is still running and I just need to wait a few seconds more. So it will be a success. Okay, you know what? I will go a bit further on my slides and I will come back to my demonstration later just to be sure to cover everything. I just have one slide to show more, a little ad, I would say. Project to follow, not mine, but the Center of Excellence Starter Kit. Today there is a pipelines branch managed mainly by Mark from the Power Cat team, but from many people. And they are working on some pipeline definition in YAML for Azure DevOps for now. So you should definitely keep your eyes on this because it can become really important. The idea behind this part of the Center of Excellence Starter Kit, if I'm not wrong, I do not want to talk for Mark, but the idea is to provide to everyone some guidelines, some best practices around DevOps for Power Platform. So they will provide some pipeline in YAML, and you will be able to use them in your project, in your company. So I think it will be really a game changer. Obviously, with this technical part, I will say of the Center of Excellence Starter Kit with the pipelines, they will also provide some documentation regarding how Microsoft and how their customers are used to manage DevOps around Power Platform. And it will be really interesting to take a look at this part. Because we see in conversations just like now, And exactly, Chris. They will also work on some Canvas apps for citizen developers and for everyone, but more for citizen developers because they want to to provide some DevOps, some ILM to everyone in the company, because nowadays you all know around the Power Platform we are working with pro dev and citizen dev, and if we want to have quality around all the solution, all the apps built on the Power Platform, we will need to provide some DevOps best practices to everyone. Okay, so here is the import solution to QA. Yeah. Today it's a bit complicated because the Microsoft added many things, many components to solutions. You are able to add so many things here, and some parts do not work really well in the standard DevOps actions provided by Microsoft. So here, just like I mentioned, the request channel timeout waiting for a reply after, okay, we'll say 2 minutes. But if I come here and I check history, I can see here that GitHub could have waited a few seconds more to have this solution. It's a success with the import, and I can see here it's okay. And my build environment disappeared, and I'm really happy to see that. Okay, so I have 10 minutes. Can I do the last point? Yeah. So using my pull request, closed, but using my pull request, I will delete my dev branch. Okay, just to let my GitHub repository clean. Okay, and I will close my issue. Okay, it's done. It's merged with the main branch. So I will close this here. And if I come to actions, I see there is this action running, delete Power Apps dev environment. And it's, I would say, a simple one, but it's just with PowerShell. When an issue is closed or deleted, because I want to manage both cases, I will trigger this action. I will install the modules in PowerShell. I will search for my environment using a variable I built, here, using some parameters. Is then with the idea environment name, but it's the idea of the environment, I will delete it. I will push a new notification to my issue just to say everything okay. And I think it's done because I have a notification. So here, environment deleted. If I come here, oh, no dev environment, and I'm really happy. Last step, I will be able to finish everything. It's the bonus step, I will say, because I did not plan to show it. I was not sure I had the time. It's the creation of a release, a GitHub release. Here you can see with the managed solution in it. So I will just take the name of my new branch, the name of my new branch, create a branch. Okay, so here I have my new branch. I will go here to my actions and create GitHub release. It's still a manual action. I select the right branch, do not miss this one, and I will just, and I will run this workflow. Okay, we'll see it appear here. just to be able to check. And I will show you, oh, no, here. I will show you what I have inside this action. So the syntax for manual action with an input, the request, the release body, it's a text for the GitHub release. Solution name, still the same. I create a build environment, just like I mentioned before, because I do not store anywhere the managed solution. I will always create the managed solution from my repository using the unpack and manage solution. But build manage solution. Okay, and here it's the new one, the new job, create GitHub release. I use some action from the community. So here it's a create release action on the marketplace. And then I add some things like the manage solution and the README file, just for example, but you can add everything you want. I do that because I think it's not easy to see the content of the GitHub release, because I do not know, I'm not an expert in GitHub, and I do not know how to generate an empty release and then add the managed solution. So I create a release. I have everything in my repositories. All the files in my repositories will be in the release. And in the second time, I will add the managed solution in it. So we'll keep it here. And I think waiting for the end, I will say thank you to everyone for listening this session. Thank you for someone somewhere to give me the chance to show this demonstration till the end, because yesterday it was more complicated. And I hope you enjoyed what you have seen. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask, and please fill the survey. And thank you very much, Victor, and everyone involved in the organization of this great event.
I'm not sure if everybody caught it, after he's showing GitHub left and right and showing automation that he's doing, at the end he's like, well, I'm not a GitHub expert, but
No, really, I'm not a GitHub expert. I've just I've seen when Microsoft announced that they were working on GitHub Actions for Power Platform. I became crazy, because for me, and I know many people in this session could benefit from that, because in the community, many people are working on open source projects. So right. If you are working on an open source project, you will most of the time work in GitHub. And since today, you had to find some ways to export and pack your solution in your repository, create release. And with this kind of tools, we are now able to connect directly our Power Platform environment to our open source repositories. And as I said during the presentation, I think it will be a really game changer, because for personally, now when I try to work on a session for an event, I will try to make everything in GitHub in a dedicated repository and provide the link to everyone and say, okay, you know what, I worked on something. It was pretty easy for me to get everything in my repository using GitHub Actions. Mm-hmm. And you can go further with this if you want.
Yeah, people are really thanking you for putting this together. Some folks are saying, I need to watch this again. Yeah, I think it's my feeling too. I have to watch and pause and play with it. And
yeah, sure. Just like I said, it's a beginning. I need to work more on this. Not now, because I'm a bit exhausted after 3 days of events. But in December, I think I will continue to work on this. And sure, I will love to have some feedbacks from folks around. And thank you, everyone.
Very good, very good. Thanks, Raphael. Up next, we got Omar Zaror, and again, I'm I will apologize in advance if I mispronounce the last name, Omar. Are you here with us already? Not sure if Omar is joined. All right. Can you? I don't know if you want to do camera. It's up to you. But list. Oh, not a presenter. All right. Let's make Omar a presenter real quick, and we'll go from there. Uh, Omar, I tried to make you a presenter, and it says it failed. So let's see if it works now. All right. It shows you as a presenter. Can you see if you can share your screen? All right. We can't hear you. Maybe you muted.